and welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub as it's top against bottom in the Championship this evening as Leicester travel up to South Yorkshire to Hillsborough to face Sheffield Wednesday. Enzo Maresca and his side are looking to make it back-to-back wins, and the Italian manager has decided to make 6 changes to the side that beat Watford at the weekend. An obvious return was Harry Winks, who missed that game through suspension. As well as him, in come Cody, Cassidy, Yunus, Fatawu and Jamie Vardy. Out go Justin Chowdhury and Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, McAteer and Kelechi Iheanacho. So this is the 11 then. We think it'll be Wout Faes at left back in front of course, Mads Hermansen. It'll be Vestergaard and Cody, again we think in the centre of defence with Ricardo at right back. Harry Winks is in that midfield role again, having missed that one game through suspension. And then it's Yunus and Cassidy just in front of him, with Mavididi and Fatawu in behind Jamie Vardy. On the bench, it's Stolarczyk, Justin, Iheanacho, Sutar, Chowdhury, Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi. Tom Cannon, who again we're still waiting to see, hopefully tonight for the first time in a Leicester City shirt, as well as Casey McAteer. From a Sheffield Wednesday point of view, Josh Windass, the man who scored a last-gasp winning goal at Wembley to get them into the Championship, is suspended, so he misses the game tonight. As well as him, 3 others drop out from their defeat against Birmingham at the weekend. Windass's replacement is probably the most notable, really, in the Sheffield Wednesday team, as it's 18-year-old Bailey Cadamarteri, son of Danny. Those eagle-eared Leicester City fans will remember him. He had a very brief spell at Leicester back in the 2006-2007 season. Their team is Dawson in goal, Bernard, Diaby and Fameru across the back 3, with Johnson and Iorfa the 2 wing-backs, Vulks and Byers in midfield, with Patterson and Bannon, we think, in behind Bailey Cadamarteri. Well, they're both teams then, Leicester City and Sheffield Wednesday, who will face battle in just under an hour's time. Up the M1, we've got coming, well, up a different road, Ewan Roberts from Norfolk to join us tonight, and not very far, Matt Elliott as well, who's already been giving me the eye. I think he clearly wants to say something or pick me up on something. Well, so good evening to you, and you might as well get it out the way. There we go.
Evening, Batesy. Evening, Ewan. I was just wanted to question eagle-eared. Is that such a thing?
I was going to go for eagle. I was going to go for eagle-eyed, but then
you thought because it's audio or whatever, or listening into
your... People can see it, but people listening as well.
They've got good hearing.
Have they? Well, I'm sure they have.
Yeah, they've got good hearing.
I'm not sure they've actually got ears, have they?
They've got little holes in them.
Well, I wasn't expecting just under an hour until kick-off tonight, within 3 minutes of us being on air, to be talking about whether Eagles have got ears or not, but here we are. Ewan, thanks for coming up.
I did come up the M1 for about 20 miles as well.
There we go, yeah. So we're a factual-based show, you see here, Matt, as we always are.
I'm sure you'll prove to be right, Batesy, as always.
Yes, as always. The facts are 6 changes for Leicester. 4 for Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, we're going to concentrate on Leicester, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think we expected changes. Did I expect 6? Probably not. I understand it. A busy period now, from now until January the 1st. You know, you don't want to look too far forward and forget this game at Hillsborough tonight, because cold Wednesday night against a team that are fighting for their lives. You know, I don't think it's going to be easy. But you look like 3 days down the line and an early kick-off at West Brom, 12:30 kick-off. You know, I'm not surprised that the manager's sort of rested a few and brought some fresh legs in with, I think, a view on to that game against West Brom.
Yeah. Still to come here on Planet Earth, Matchday Live on Fox's Hub. We've got plenty to get through as we build up to kick-off. We're going to look back firstly at the game at the weekend as Leicester, arrested a mini slide. They'd lost 2 games in a row, hadn't they? Either side of the international break. Jamie Vardy, though, was at the double in that win against Watford. Enzo Maresca previews the trip, of course, tonight to face Sheffield Wednesday, and we'll also take a closer look at tonight's opposition, who did change their manager already so far this season. They are rooted, though, to the bottom of the Championship. That's something that I think Enzo Maresca, Matt, has really made a point of this week, saying that he's really trying to ramp up the fact that it won't be an easy game. A lot of people might just look at the table and assume that's an easy 3 points for Leicester, when it certainly won't be that.
Yeah, I think if Leicester play anything like their capabilities, then I wouldn't say that they'll cruise it, but I would imagine they will get the desired results because of the time that the Sheffield Wednesday are having. But as in the case with most leagues, any team on their given night can produce issues and problems. People say, oh, it's a sort of trait of the Premier League in England and the Championship, but that's across the world, really. The teams play up to their capability can cause problems for anyone if you take your eye off the ball. And I think Leicester have been pretty good on that front, in fairness, for pretty much all the season, really. Okay, the performances haven't always been free-flowing, elite performances, but it's been a bedding in process. But I think in terms of their application, there aren't too many times where you can say that Leicester were complacent, really. They haven't been firing on all cylinders all the time, but a few changes, and I think you look at it, and that will make it even more of a test. But what a nice luxury to have the likes of Dewsbury Hall and Didi and others to come on at a later stage of the game.
I mean, you've only got to look back to last weekend and not take anything for granted in this division. Starting on Friday night, Leeds made that trip to South Yorkshire to play Rotherham. I think they were still looking for a new manager. They drew 1-1, and Leeds were flying, as we know, because they beat Leicester here a few weeks ago. Southampton, who were in great form under Russell Martin, they went to Huddersfield, another team that are right down there fighting for their lives. They only went away with a point. So you can't take anything for granted, Dan. You've got to, this football club over the last 3-4 months, on and off the pitch, has set such high standards. They've got to keep those standards. You can't let them drop. It's all about application, attitude, as I say, especially when it's the coldest night of the year so far. Your professionalism has to come into it. We don't expect an easy game, but fighting for their lives, 6 points out there, 17 games. They've only scored 8 goals in 17, so it's a good opportunity, I think, but won't be easy.
Now, when you look at the team, it's not changes for changes' sake either, as well. The only person who's really getting a rest, you would say, is Dewsbury Hall. But the others are all possible tactical changes anyway, or options certainly. So it's not like wholesale changes just to keep it fresh, which is a good idea anyway. Keep them fresh now, rather than wait until back end of December when they are tired and then rest them. Preempting the situation is intelligent from Maresca.
Yes, that was the Leicester City team that was just on your screen then. There are 6 changes to the side that beat Watford at the weekend here at King Power Stadium. The fans that were here had to be patient, but they did indeed get the job done.
Dewsbury Hall inside the penalty area, low ball across towards the back post, and a vital touch in there defensively from Watford. How close was that for Leicester City? That's one back well by Leicester City. Here's Iheanacho out wide in the penalty area. MATCHDAY! And it's just wide. From our angle, for a moment it looked like it was in the back of the net. It was the side of the net that MATCHDAY found. And then wins it back for Leicester in what could be a promising position. Sends it over the top towards Dewsbury Hall. Great turn, great strike off the post. So close for Leicester. How about that for a turn from Dewsbury Hall as he looks high into the sky. It's MATCHDAY bursting round the outside. Vardy at the back post, and he's skied it again. Huge chance for Leicester City once more. It fell to Vardy on the volley. Has the most assists this season in the Championship. Can he find another here as he sends his ball towards the back post? It's a fantastic save, but then Jamie Vardy there with the back stick to get it home this time. It's third time lucky for the Leicester City number 9. It's 7 goals in 8 home appearances against Watford. Headed on by Cassidy towards Vardy. He's in again here, Jamie Vardy, round the goalkeeper who takes him down. And it will be a Leicester City penalty deep into stoppage time. Looking for his second, and Leicester City's second, as he scores from the spot and finishes the scoring finishes off any potential doubt of a Watford equaliser, as it's Leicester City 2, Watford 0.
Yes, Leicester City getting back to winning ways, thanks in part to Jamie Vardy, of course, on Saturday with that double against Watford. It was important to get the win again, wasn't it, Matt, really, from obviously what had happened with the back-to-back defeats against Leeds and then against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and ultimately it was pretty comprehensive, wasn't it? You see there the amount of highlights and genuine goal-mouth situations that Leicester had. I mean, you're saying partly due to Jamie Vardy. I mean, he scored 2. We should have had 4. And it's funny when you look at Leicester's performances that people sometimes are sort of slightly critical maybe of the entertainment factor of the games, but when you look at those highlights there, you see how dominant Leicester were, and I don't think I think it's maybe the play in between that is quite structured, shall we say, like manufactured. It's not wild and furious, but the moments that count are plentiful more often than not. And Leicester just got better and better and better as the game went on, stronger from start to finish, didn't they? There was a couple of scary moments when Watford had one particular great chance, didn't they? When the striker, just didn't make contact at all. So they had a little bit of fortune in that respect. But then afterwards, it was just waiting for Leicester to get the goal. When they did, it was pretty much game over. Although even then, there was a scare or two at the end.
I mean, you came out with I like my stats. Stan came out with one Monday night, and I was gobsmacked. Out of the 31 goals Leicester have scored, 15 have come in the 70th.
Last 20 minutes,
yeah.
And doesn't surprise me.
Conceded just 1.
Yeah.
That's absolutely magnificent. I mean, I think the international break came at a good time. Gave the squad a couple of weeks to work on different things. I don't think it was time to panic with the 2 defeats and not scoring in both games. Maybe concerned, yes, but then you look at Watford. They were coming into this game, they hadn't lost in 6, so to go and I saw them beat Norwich last night, having gone 2-0 down after 12 minutes. I didn't think it was going to be easy against Watford.
You wonder where that performance has come from, don't you? You talk about not taking things for granted. The 2-0 down against Norwich, and for Watford, that team were never coming back on Saturday against Leicester. Okay, it's at home and it's Norwich, but you didn't think they had that in them.
And one shot on target in 90-plus minutes. That's credit to how Leicester played.
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy did really well. You'll know as a former striker, if you miss a chance, in Vardy's case, 2 or 3 really, on Saturday, to then come back and have the ability and the confidence to be sure and okay that the first goal from the corner, you could argue it's a tap-in, but it isn't.
It's not. I think the goal that he scores is a much harder chance than the one he missed with his left foot when I think it was Mamadidi who stood the ball up to the back post. I mean, I think his anticipation and his reactions are still razor sharp. I mean, the way he finishes it's on the half volley. He's coming onto the ball. He has to use his studs to guide it in. It's easy.
That's the one he missed.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure what he's done there. He's had a stab at it, hasn't he?
I mean, he does. Tony Cotty was saying yesterday his reactions after missing that. He gives himself a little right hook to the jaw.
You don't want to do that. You're ugly enough, son.
I don't want to lose any more teeth. I don't say he doesn't care when he misses, but it doesn't affect him like it would a lot of players missing that type of opportunity. He can't wait for that next one. He can't wait to be in the right time, in the right place for that next one. And as he showed, he'll put it away.
I mean, it's a great save initially. Vestergaard could score, couldn't he, there? But Vardy, Matt, that's just striker's instinct to be in the right place at the right time. And you can see what it means to him as well. Yeah,
it's good, that. And that will admit itself throughout the squad as well. You see Jamie Vardy celebrate. Okay, it's his personal sort of justification, if you want. He's missed a couple. He's annoyed with himself. He's a competitor, isn't he? And set himself high standards. For the time he was on the pitch, he'd fallen below those standards up until that point. But then it's just that sort of, stubbornness, that determination that he's got, which has taken him to levels that he's been able to reach in his career. You weren't surprised, were you? And so from a personal point of view, he's delighted, but also he recognised how important it was, to get that goal, to put him in front, to give him the 3 points, keep him at the top of the league. And that filtered through to the rest of the teammates and the supporters as well, because there was a real, not relief, but jubilation with that first goal. And at the end of the day, it's just, you could look at it and say, well, it's just another game against Watford. It's not. Every game is vital. And Leicester have got the bit between their teeth.
His 11th goal in 14 appearances against Watford. He's got the same tally against Arsenal in 16 games. He hasn't scored any more goals against any other side. I think he makes the initial run down that right-hand side and he wins the free kick, which leads to the goal.
Yes.
He's still got that yard of pace. Even in the Championship, even at 36, 37, whatever he is now, he's still quicker, I would think, than 99% of centre-halves.
Which is obviously a key weapon, a potent
always
weapon
has
to
been
have as a
that.
striker.
Always has been. I mean, I think he gets his goals because of his pace. He's been unbelievably quick throughout his years. I don't think he's lost. Maybe he lost half a yard, if that, in the last couple of seasons. But he's got the bit between the teeth. He's confident. I think he's leading by example up the top there. He's a club captain, and hopefully let it continue.
Well, you look at the stats. Ewan loves a stat, Matt. I've got another one for you. In his last 15 appearances in which Jamie Vardy has scored, Leicester haven't lost.
Yeah.
So when he scores, Leicester invariably win. Of those 15, 13 wins, 2 draws. It was another win at the weekend. He got 2, of course, and took the penalty really well, didn't he? I mean, the build-up to the penalty, obviously taking it and going around the keeper.
You say that, but I mean, Leicester don't lose many full stop at the moment, do they? So, but I mean, obviously a couple recently, so that stat would sort of tally up anyway. But yeah, I'd be interested to see tonight how it goes, because over recent times, I think he's found it a little bit frustrating, because when he started the game, it's almost sort of fallen into place, but the rotation with Iheanacho. But whoever starts tends to not have a particularly dynamic game. Now, is that because the way Leicester play? They just slowly grow themselves into the game, and as Ewan's mentioned, they score goals late on quite regularly because teams get tired, space opens up, and the dynamics of the game changes. So more often than not, it's almost, I think he'd rotate it anyway, Maresca, but it's almost like, well, he did well for 20 minutes, he came on and scored, he's going to start the next game, and then doesn't get many touches. So then it's Iheanacho's go again. There's a sort of an ebb and flow about it, but either of those two, you've got to back them to do well in the Championship.
And that penalty, I think there's added pressure on that penalty because you got an outfield player in goal.
Yeah. I think he thought just hits it, power. As long as it doesn't hit his frame, he's not going to have the chance to react. Like, a proper goalkeeper probably saves that, to be honest.
Speaking of Jamie Vardy, though, I mean, he was never not going to start tonight, was he? Against the side that he was a boyhood fan of. They did release him. I think he was 16 when he got released by them. He'll want to even now prove a point. And he'll get a great reception, I'm sure, at Hillsborough. Because, mainly, every time he goes to Bramall Lane, he scores and silences that crowd.
Well, you think, sorry again, stats. 162nd league goal in 387 appearances for Leicester. 177 goals in 445 appearances. That's unbelievable. Yeah. And as you say, it just shows that the type of person, the type of character that he is, to suffer that disappointment, being told at a young age, listen, you ain't good enough, you ain't going to make it, find yourself another club. Had to go through the non-league sort of system until he found his feet at Fleetwood, where I can't remember how many goals he scored in that season, where they got 100 odd points, which obviously attracted the eyes of Leicester. And he's never looked back. And I think that's why he's got so much longevity, because he didn't get into the professional game until he was 25, 26. Relatively old, but because he hadn't played a lot of football, a lot of professional football up until then. I think that's why he's
saved on the old wear and tear.
Played at such a high level now.
Hasn't done him any harm, that's for sure.
He was 27 years old when he made his Premier League debut, which I think sums up Jamie Vardy, and he's still scoring goals now, of course. The last time that Leicester City got promoted to the Premier League. Jamie Vardy was heavily involved that season. Leicester actually beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 at home, though, this time. Vardy wasn't on the score sheet, but there were 2 goals for the dynamic wingers that season, Riyad Mahrez and Anthony Knockaert.
Sweeping move from Leicester City. Absolutely. Straight out of the top drawer from the little Frenchman. The champions elect back on track in some style.
Well, hopefully we'll see a repeat of that this evening. Another Leicester City victory and a couple of good goals to boot. You can watch the game wherever you are. This is available to you anywhere tonight for just £10. So if you've not already pre-ordered the game, you can do so now. If you scan that QR code in the bottom right of your screen there, it'll take you exactly where you need to go. As we've said, it only costs £10 and you can watch all of tonight's action. If you need any more details, though, all you need to do is head to lcfc.com/foxeshub and it'll tell you everything you need to know. But yes, wherever you are, even in the UK, you can watch the game live with us tonight, which is good, isn't it, Matt?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful as ever. But I was just thinking about or reflecting on that forward line for Leicester in the Championship. Knockaert, Mahrez, Vardy, all in their pomp pretty much. Okay, Knockaert and Mahrez developing. Just a shame that Nudes had to spoil the levels, wasn't it? by getting involved in the mix.
He's not here to defend himself.
Well, hopefully in what, 5 or 10 years' time, we can look back at Leicester's recent Championship, hopefully promotion-winning team, and you see still Jamie Vardy there, but the likes of Iheanacho, Fatawu, Mavididi, McAteer. There's so many options moving forward, of course, aren't there? Which is why Leicester pretty much are in the position they are in at the start of the season. But Enzo Maresca has been very keen, hasn't he, throughout the whole of this season and the start they've made to keep everybody's feet on the ground. And he says that he's looking at every game, each one as it comes, one game at a time.
No, for sure it's one game at a time, as we always said. If you remember, many times I said that I know that during a season there are some games that for different circumstances or for history, they are, I don't know if it's correct to say more or less important, but at the end they are all 3 points. So we are focused on tomorrow game, that is the most important. And then after tomorrow, we're going to think about the next and the next and the next again.
I think a lot of fans are anxious to see your last signing that you made in Tom Cannon, who you've not been able to use as yet. In terms of his fitness, is he fit enough to start games? Are you looking at maybe using him soon?
Yeah, Tom is fit, completely fit. He's already training with us from many weeks. The only problem with Tom is just he needs to be patient, continue to work, because he's a striker. And we have Jimmy, we have Kelly, we have Pat that also is not joining us even in the squad, so it's complicated. And Tom, he has to continue to work in the way he's working, and for sure we see he's getting chances.
Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow night, Enzo. What do you expect from them, from your analysis?
Exactly the same I said the day before against QPR. For them, it's the perfect day, because beating us, they can solve at least they can solve some problems. So for them, it's the perfect day. If you remember QPR game, how difficult it was, and tomorrow will be exactly the same. They change completely dynamic with the new manager. Also, the way they behave. Before they were a little bit more waiting. Now they go, since the new manager arrived, they change completely. They are very aggressive, high pressing. So will be very, very tough game for sure, 100%.
Tactically, how do you deal with that in terms of the aggressiveness and the messages, I guess, you give to your players in order to cope with that?
No, yeah. Also, I think with the new manager, they play 6-7 games, and they change 3-4 times the shape. So it's very difficult to think how they're gonna play against us, to be honest. So we need to be able to adapt very soon to the game, because it's difficult to expect how they're gonna play against us.
you hinted at it a little bit already, but they're bottom of the table, but under the lights in a night fixture at Hillsborough. Do you think they'll feel a little bit galvanised under the new manager against the top of the table to go out there and put a shot on?
I just said probably for us it's the worst game in this moment, because for them it could be the game of the not the game of the season, but the game of the rebuild. How to say? Since this game, guys, we can start something important, and this is the perfect day against us tomorrow, and will be very difficult game. I already told them that this is the worst game in this moment for us, and we need to be ready.
That was Enzo Maresca there addressing the press ahead of this game with Sheffield Wednesday. Picking up really on his very last point there, saying this is the worst possible game for us because we're playing a Sheffield Wednesday team, okay, that are bottom of the league and are comfortably bottom. I think they're 10 points adrift of safety already at this stage of the season, but they will treat this as nothing to lose.
It's one of those, I think sometimes you get them where you call it a freebie. People don't really expect Sheffield Wednesday to get anything against Leicester.
That's when you need the experience of the likes of Conor Cody, who's had promotions.
And maybe that's why he's brought Conor into this team, to make sure that some of the youngsters in the team are fully focused on the job in hand. You know, yeah, they've got a new manager. I think he's the youngest manager in the Championship. Yeah, he's got the club's first win, a 2-0 win at home against Rotherham, but he's lost the next 5, Dan. They haven't scored in 4 of those 5 under the new man. You know, they are in free fall. I've seen them a few times and I've been really disappointed. Yeah, they are aggressive, as Enzo said. They're quite physical. You have to match those aspects of the game. If not, you know, not that they'll steamroll you, but they could sort of take advantage of that. But I would fully expect, especially you look at that Leicester City bench and the depth and the quality, if things aren't quite going Leicester's way, the quality to come off that bench, it's hard to look at anything else but a Leicester City win.
Big night for the man that was just on the screen there in Cesare Casadei, Matt, as well as the man in midfield with him there, Yunus, of course. We know Harry Winks will be in there, Ricardo will be in there. How do you see Casadei and Yunus's roles tonight?
Yeah, I mean, when you compare them to Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall, first of all, you look at it, they haven't got the same athleticism, I think it's fair to say. Probably not the same engine either. I know he's mentioned that Casadei is box to box, but not to the degree that Ndidi can be. And both of them have struggled to really make the impact that they would have desired, I think. It's been a bit stop-start for Yunus there. You know, he's flitted around. He can play a variety of positions, which is a good thing sometimes, but sometimes a hindrance, because he can play out wide as well, can't he? So, you know, he's not a utility player, but he's very useful in that respect. Casadei seems to be preferred in that particular slot, and I think he's not quite adapted just yet. It just, for a midfield player at the moment, it looks to me to be not be aware enough early on, and it just needs to be that little bit brighter, have that peripheral vision. A lot of time he's having a touch and then he's having a look at what's around him. It's too late then. So I'm sure Maresca will be trying to bring that along in his game. You know, sort of adjusting to the pace of it, I don't know, but he's been over here a while, hasn't he? So I look at it, I feel like there's something there, and it's maybe about to happen, but it needs to happen soon, sort of thing. I think he needs to develop a little bit quicker than he has done.
I mean, I've not seen as much of the two of them as you have. I've seen more of Casadei than I have of Yunus. What I've seen of Yunus, I like.
Good footballer.
Pace, direct, you know, likes running at people. You know, when you think how Casadei burst onto the scenes in that home game against Cardiff City, the second home game at the King Power, scored the winner in injury time. I think it was Preston at home, a game that I did. I thought second half he had a terrific game. That's probably the best I've seen him play. But it must be hard, lads. It must be hard when you think, you know, that if the 3 Winks, Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall are fit, they're going to start, unless the manager what wants to do what he's done tonight and rest some legs to to look forward to the next game.
Yes, as Ewan Roberts has just referenced there are some players that have been rested or moved to the bench this evening. 6 changes in total for the game this evening. The game is available to you on Fox's Hub for free. So all you need to do is head on to Fox's Hub and pay just £10 and you can watch all of the action wherever you are in the country. There's plenty other content for you as well on Fox's Hub, whether you do that as we build up to kick-off, which is half an hour away, or save it for the next couple of days. But there's plenty on there for you to sink your teeth into, particularly mainly the Legacy for Kunvishai documentary. It's about half an hour long. It is a fantastic watch, that, which was obviously brought out around about the 5-year anniversary of the tragic helicopter accident here at King Power Stadium. On a lighter note, Kelechi Iheanacho invited a young supporter rather, to Seagrave, who influenced one of his celebrations in one of his goals. He said, basically, do a celebration. If you score, Kelechi did score, did the celebration, so he invited the fan to Seagrave, gave him a tour. Really good watch, that, as well as the latest edition of the podcast with Harry Winks, Matt Elliott and Jerry Taggart in conversation with the Foxes number 8.
I was going to say, if Vichai wasn't featuring there, that's the one. That's the one to look at, Harry Winks. Because you know why.
Yeah.
Me and Gerald.
Because of Gerald Taggart, of course, as you've just said that. Speaking of Jerry, now you've moaned at me a little bit earlier because we didn't show one of your goals against Watford. So to really rub it in and to spite you, we're going to show you 2 Jerry Taggart goals in one game against Sheffield Wednesday, back in 1999.
Is this the one that come off his chin knee?
Matt Elliott at the far post, heads it across. Up goes Jerry Taggart for his 3rd goal of the season, and Leicester City take the lead in the 24th minute. Flicked on by Sinclair, and that's a 2nd goal for Jerry Taggart. Well, Taggart doubles his goal tally for the season. That's 4 so far for the Northern Ireland international.
Yes, Jerry Taggart at the double against tonight's opponents, Sheffield Wednesday. I thought they were 2 really good headers, Matt, despite what you were saying before we...
I thought it was a different one. He scored one, it came off his forehead, his nose, his chin, chest, hip, knee, toe once. It just dribbled down the front of him and went in. Decent goals. Goalkeeper a bit suspect on the first one, wasn't they? Great assist, though. They put it on the plate for him. Was that?
I hope he thanked you, by the way.
It was me who did that, wasn't it? And then second one, movement, wasn't it? On the run, lovely little flick.
Good set piece.
He's lethal from a yard out, Jerry.
Yeah, let's give Jerry the right of reply because he is with us.
I forgot he was listening.
Up at Hillsborough, of course. He's on commentary duty for us this evening. Good evening to you, Jerry. I'm sure you don't need to see the pictures, do you? Because they're fresh in your memory from 1999.
Are they? Let's just put it this: Elliott's not the only one who can score a double in a big game, even if it wasn't at Wembley.
How is it tonight?
It's fresh, Dan. Very fresh here tonight in South Yorkshire. But yeah, it's calm. There's no wind. Pitch is looking in decent condition, to be fair. So yeah, all the players are out in the pitch, just going through the passing drills. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
What are you expecting from the game? I mean, Leicester go into it, you look at the table as heavy favourites. There's no getting around that.
No, absolutely. I think if you're looking at Sheffield Wednesday, then they're desperate for points, aren't they? So they're going into this game as a must get something out of it, because you know the longer they go on without gaining points, and obviously the harder it is for them to drag themselves towards 18th position or 17th position, should I say? Or what am I on about? It's not the Premier League. 21st, is it? 21st position in the Championship, sorry. And for Leicester, they want to keep that momentum from Saturday and go on another run, like they did after the defeat to Hull. So really important for them that they get back to winning ways again tonight. Big game for Jamie Vardy, who's starting tonight against his boyhood club, a club who he supported all his life and is actually from Hillsborough. just round the corner from this ground. So big evening for him this evening.
Gerald, it's Matthew.
Hello, Matthew.
Congratulations on those 2 epic headers from a yard out, mate. Not bad at all.
I'm sure you flicked one of them on as well.
I did indeed. My header was actually better than yours that scored, but we won't go into it.
Couldn't resist.
Talking of local, you're only down the road yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes away for me to get here, yeah. So
Result.
a bit of a little trundle tonight instead of a camel ride.
Nice. Sounds good. And long overdue, mate. But I was just going to ask you, have you had a chance to sort of get a sense of the mood up there? I know obviously the ground's nowhere near filling up just yet, but speaking to people in and around the stadium, do you feel is it that it's doom and gloom from Sheffield Wednesday, or are they hoping for a sort of a new beginning, shall we say, at some stage that the performances will kick in? Or
yeah, well, I'm surrounded by Sheffield Wednesday fans.
Yeah, day to
day, so I get to hear their opinions on everything. But they're a pretty optimistic bunch, even when they're going through rough times. I don't mean that they're expecting to get themselves out of this, but I think what will be with a lot of them, which is not the same as I can say when you're talking to Sheffield United fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're a pretty optimistic bunch, but I think they know they're in trouble pretty much, and tonight is a game where I would say not too many of them are expecting the best.
Thank you very much, Jerry. We'll let you go again and get your final cup of tea or anything warmer, Bovril maybe to warm you up as we build up to kick-off, which is just over 20 minutes away. Let's get the thoughts then of Sheffield Wednesday. Ricky Charlesworth from Yorkshire Live has been addressing obviously the start to the season that Sheffield Wednesday have made, as well as their new manager.
Table says it all, I guess. 36 points between Leicester and Wednesday. It's I suppose you think of if Wednesday were to pull off a win tomorrow night, it's probably right up there, isn't it, with the shocks of the season. Last year obviously Leicester in the Prem, Wednesday in League One. But in terms of the actual club sizes, I don't think there's too much in terms of stature and obviously the level of support each club gets. But right now, the poles apart. I mean, Wednesday, which I'm sure we'll touch on, have had just a dreadful few months ever since that Wembley win, really, against Barnsley, which was just over 6 months to the day on Wednesday night. So you look at how it's gone since that day. 2 managers, they've had more managers than league wins. So I think that says it all. It's almost like he's been honed for his first managerial job, and he certainly couldn't have picked a tougher one than what he's walked into at Wednesday. Started well, won his first home game against Rotherham, and from there you're thinking, can they push on? Performances have been there, but it's results, and I think it's just showing that the quality isn't there. That's from the players that were already there and the ones that got brought in by his predecessor. It's just, well, it says it all. 6 points from, I think, 51. That tells you all you need to know, I guess.
Thanks to Ricky Charlesworth there from Yorkshire Live for that assessment of Sheffield Wednesday. Difficult to try and draw any positives really for him for Sheffield Wednesday this season.
Scored 8 goals in 17, Dan. Worst defensive record along with Huddersfield. There's a reason why they're in the situation that they're in. I mean, from going from that euphoric day where Josh Windar scored that winner against Barnsley in the playoff final, Darren Moore, the man who got the club back into the Championship, fell out with the owner. One reason or another, he left the role. Xisco Munoz came in, who's had success with Watford. Didn't happen for him. Obviously, they've brought the new man in. I mean, they've lost 13 of 17 games. They've lost 5 of their last 6. As I said, since the new man's come in, yeah, he's got the club's first win, but he's lost his next 5. Apparently their XG is far better now than what it has been. If you haven't got anybody to put the ball in the back of the net, doesn't matter what your XG is, doesn't matter how many chances you create.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's sorry viewing, isn't it, really? I don't have real affinity with Sheffield Wednesday whatsoever, but it is a bit of a shame, you know.
It's a big club, like,
a club like they are, and you know, to have that success, you know, they've been in the doldrums for a while, and they come up from, you know, when Darren Moore and all that happened with that, and the explanations of it, I don't know, still to be answered, I suppose, really, but categorically, but you know, the euphoria, or the jubilation, they must have been coming up how they did. And then it's just a massive anticlimax, isn't it? You know, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, and some of it has been, you know, created, really. It hasn't been sort of situations from nowhere which have come in. They've brought their own downfall upon themselves to a degree. But I don't know, I haven't seen enough of them to say whether it's, you know, player quality, totally down to that, or is it tactical changes that can be made to tighten them up. But you know, if you do that, then you're losing any creativity you have got, which isn't very much at the moment.
Well, and that will come from that man there, Barry Bannon.
You would think so, yeah. He's a quality performer, isn't he? Technically very good, but I mean, listen, I've looked at the standards of the Championship, and it's quite a far way off the Premier League, but you have to have more than one player to rely on to break oppositions down. And you know, Bannon's a good player, but have they got the quality elsewhere? We'll see tonight.
Yeah, we'll see, absolutely. You can watch the full game no matter where you are in the world, so particularly here in the UK as well, of course, which isn't always the case, but it is tonight. You can watch the game with us on Fox's Hub. There is a live UK stream. To get your Game Pass, all you need to do is head to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub, or scan that little QR code there in the bottom right of the corner, just under Steffi Mavrididi's left elbow. If you scan that, it'll take you exactly where you need to go, and it costs £10. You can watch the full game with us, as well as continuing with the build-up with us here, with Matt Elliott and Ewan Roberts. Let's get a recap then of today's team news, starting from a Leicester City point of view. Enzo Maresca has made 6 changes to tonight's team. It's Hermansen in goal. We think Fass operating from sort of left-back / centre-back. We'll talk about that in just a moment, how that might look. Vestergaard and Cody as the two, I think it's fair to say, will be the two centre-backs. Ricardo from right-back into midfield with Winks, Yunus and Cassidy, Mavrididi and Fatawu either side of Jamie Vardy. From a Sheffield Wednesday point of view, possibly one of their most influential players in Josh Windass is missing the game through suspension. Danny Canamatari, who had a brief spell with Leicester, his son replaces him up front. Bailey, the number 42. Their starting 11 is Dawson, Bernard, Diaby, Famewu, Johnson and Iorfa as the two wing-backs, with Volks, Byers, Patterson and Bannon in behind the aforementioned Canamatari.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a concern, but that is, I'm looking at Fass. I know he's got number 3 on his back, but I don't think he's a left-back. I think that could be one area that maybe could cause Leicester City problems tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was decent, mostly, at the weekend. Although I thought Vestergaard would stand out. But I think Vass is, I think he's adaptable enough to
he's quick, isn't he?
Quick. I'm not that convinced that he's quick. He's not slow. He's quicker than me, put it that way. But
everyone's quicker than you.
Exactly. But
apart from me.
No, but look at him. He's sort of like one-paced. He sort of chugs
I think
a bit,
it takes him a while to get into his stride. Once he's in his stride, I think he'll catch anybody. But it's those first 5 yards.
He's not nimble-footed like fullback should be traditionally, but I think he's got enough nous about him. You know, Callum Doyle, you don't think he's really a left back. You look at him, but the way Leicester play, because they dominate possession, I think they'll be secure enough.
Quickly, before we hand over to our commentary team, let's hear from one of the members in the starting 11 tonight. Cesare Cassidy has been catching up with John Dunn.
Cesare, it's Sheffield Wednesday tonight. How good is it to come into this game having got back to winning ways on Saturday?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to come here because we know that we need to keep winning, and we prepare the game and we will do everything possible to win this game.
Enzo Maresca has commented how tricky a game it could be. A new manager, a new way of playing. What are you expecting from Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, it's not an easy game. There are no easy game in this in Championship. We know that it's gonna be a very tough game because they are really aggressive, and we need to manage that and try to do our game.
Ahead of a really busy period, 7 games in December, how much are you and the squad looking forward to that challenge?
Yeah, we know that there are a lot of games. There are many games to play, but it's very impossible. It's very important to stay all together because we will need everyone in this team, and we need to stick together and try to find the energy to play every game.
That was Cesare Casadei there speaking to our commentator, John Dunn. Final points really from the both of you. Big role for him, Casadei, as we've discussed in that midfield, but a big game for Leicester to maybe even just quieten the crowd down and make sure they get the win that everybody thinks that they will.
Yeah, I think most people have similar thinking. Results went Leicester's way at the weekend. They need to make sure that they double down on that and capitalise tonight, because a lot of the teams that dropped points at the weekend, this might be the same scenario again, but you'd expect them to get positive results tonight, I think, more often than not. The likes of Ipswich.
Leeds, yeah.
Yeah, Leeds, and a couple of other teams in the round. West Brom won last night. They're creeping into the picture.
Third currently.
Yeah, so just to sort of reaffirm their reputation as top dogs at the moment, Leicester need to go and
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, West Brom winning last night at Cardiff. Leeds have got Swansea at Ellen Road, a game you'd expect them to win. You know, I think Ipswich have got Millwall. Portman Road. Southampton have got Bristol City at the Dell, St Mary's. So I wouldn't expect any of those 3 to drop points. So it's very important that Leicester go to Hillsborough and come back with 3 points.
Thank you to Ewan Roberts and to Matt Elliott for their company with me as we built up to kick off a game which you can watch wherever you are. We've obviously been telling you throughout the Matchday live show, and we'll tell you again now. That little QR code there in the bottom right of your screen, all you need to do is scan that now. You've got just over 10 minutes or so to get everything sorted as we are closing in on kickoff. It costs just £10 to get your Game Pass for tonight's game. It is available to absolutely everybody. If you're still unsure, if I've not told you the details well enough, then this little video explainer will tell you exactly what you need to do. And coming up, we have the full game.
If you are watching on lcfc.com, just sit back and relax. If you are watching on social media, the live stream will finish shortly. If you want to continue enjoying our coverage, you'll need to head over to lcfc.com/Foxes Hub and purchase one of our game passes. If you are watching in a territory where the game isn't live on TV, you'll be able to watch a live video stream on Foxes Hub. Please visit lcfc.com/territories to check. If you can't find your location, live audio commentary is still available. You'll need to have an lcfc.com account before you purchase your Game Pass. If you already have one, please sign in and select your product at lcfc.com/Foxes Hub. Select the Buy button and you'll be taken to the payment page. Once you've followed the simple payment steps, press Continue at the bottom of the screen and you'll be taken to the Foxes Hub homepage. If you purchased a video pass, please select Watch Live from the Foxes Hub drop-down menu. If you purchased a Listen Live pass, please select Listen Live. If you purchased a seasonal or monthly video pass and the game is not being shown in your territory, please select Listen Live. If you are having a payment or technical issue, please email Leicester TV Support at streamamg.com. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the match.